Yo, good evening, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the 5 spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, Queens. This is your man and homie, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, YouTuber, host with the most, misunderstood, lonely nomad, unstoppable, independent podcaster, and of course, um, Queens, New York native of Lawrence, Queens, New York. And yes, you are now rocking and listening and streaming and watching the 72nd episode of the Sports Edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. And we got a jam-packing show for you today. We got some breaking news, Mets related, involving not only JD Martinez, but also a little DJ Stewart, Jordan Montgomery going to the Diamondbacks, all that great stuff right there, man. Um, Before I even go into rumor alerts in the air, I do want to apologize for not recording. I've been going through a lot as far as like, struggling to get past the whole bullying situation at work and stuff. So that's why I needed some time to actually, regroup and stuff, man. So I didn't forget any of you listeners out there, man. So I am back. So I am going to make sure that I am here to provide y'all with new episodes, new topics, and stuff like that. So, and I also want to be able to, be able to, you know, have time to come up with topics for upcoming episodes in the future. So that way I don't run out of things to talk about. So, you know what I'm saying? So just want to get that out the way. So, anyway, I hope y'all had a great weekend and all that great stuff right there. And I want to actually remind y'all, um, that the Mets and Brewers game has been postponed to Friday because of the rain. So this is a quick reminder for you Mets fans out there who plan on going to Citifield. The Mets game has been postponed to Friday at 1:40 p.m. If you plan on watching on SNY, you can do that as well. And of course, there's also a documentary involving Dwight Gooden, and of course his, as you may know, his number 16 is getting retired this year in a couple of weeks. So check out that documentary, Dr. K, which is at 4:30 p.m. on SNY. Check it out for yourselves. All right, just want to get that out there. So just a reminder, man, don't forget, man. I wouldn't want y'all to be out in the rain in City Field and there's no game. So that's why I had to mention it before I even start the segment of Rumors in the Air. All right. So there you have it. Friday's game has been postponed to no. There you go. Friday's game has been set up for 1:40 p.m. So it's instead of Thursday. So just to let you know. All right. So, all right. What do you say we start off with what do you say we start off with some rumors in the air? Rumor alerts in the air, shall we? We got some stuff to talk about here. So I know when it comes to rumors, especially baseball players and athletes and stuff like that, it, you're waiting for a confirmation. I'm here to debunk those rumors, man. All right, and then just put it to rest. So there it is, rumor alerts in the air. Here we go. All right. All right, let's do this. Let's do this, man. All right, let's get to some rumor alerts in the air, starting with starting with what went down. Of course, while back this was posted since last month, so I decided to save this topic. So here it is, and this is according to the people from MLB. Back in November, we put together our 6th annual All-Star Trade Rumor team, looking at the key players at each position whose names figured to be fixtures on the trade market. 3 of the 11 names on our list have been traded since then. The Yankees acquired Juan Soto, which happened. Thank goodness they got him, and Alex Verdugo. While another American League East club, the Orioles, added 2022 National League Cy Young Award winner Corbin Burns. Other players acquired this winter include Tyler Glasnow to the Dodgers, Jorge Polanco with the Mariners, Chris Sale with the Braves, Jared Kalanick with the Braves, Eugenio Suarez with the Diamondbacks, along with Jordan Montgomery, and Tyler O'Neill with the Boston Red Sox. As spring camp gets set to open in the coming week, which is already here, there are still some notable names on the free agent market, including Blake Snell, which, by the way, he's already signed to the San Francisco Giants. Cody Bellinger re-signed with the Cubs. Jordan Montgomery, as I said, I'll break down what the deal is since he's with the Diamondbacks, and Matt Chapman. Still, the trade market continues to simmer, leaving the door open for more deals to take place. Let's dig back in and look at an updated version of MLB.com's trade rumor team as spring training inches closer. Of course, starting with Joey Bart to the Giants. Bart's place on the Giants roster appears tenuous after San Francisco signed catcher Tom Murphy to serve as Patrick Bailey's backup. Once the club's top prospect and heir apparent to Buster Posey, Bart has struggled in the majors since debuting in 2020, slashing 219, 288, 335 with 11 home runs and 178 strikeouts in 162 games. And of course, 503 plate appearances. Okay, so the buzz factor high. Bart is a prime change of scenery candidate with teams such as the Rays, Rockies, and Red Sox and White Sox among those that could give the 27-year-old a look. Now, Bart is out of minor league options, so look for him to be dealt before opening day. Jake Cronenworth with the Padres. There was talk earlier this offseason that the Padres were looking to move Cronenworth, reportedly having conversations with the Blue Jays about the two-time All-Star. Following the trade of Soto to the Yankees, it appeared that Cronenworth was no longer on the trade block, but continuing speculation that the Padres could look to trim more payroll typically begins with Cronenworth's name. Ha Seong Kim, who is due to earn $8 million this season with a $2 million buyout on a mutual option for 2025, could also be a trade option for the San Diego Padres. How do you like that? Buzz factor low. There is no indication that San Diego is currently shopping Cronenworth, but his 7-year extension begins this season with $78 million guaranteed to the 30-year-old. A good first half could prompt the Padres to see if there's a team willing to take that contract in a deal? Jonathan India with the Cincinnati Reds. India's name has been mentioned in trade rumors since last year when the Reds were looking to add young, controllable starting pitching. Cincinnati has a plethora of young infielders, not to mention its offseason signing of um of Heimer Candelario. So if an arm becomes available, India is a logical piece to trade for rotation help. Buzz factor low. Candelario joined a crop of infielders that includes Spencer Steer, Ellie De La Cruz, Matt Matt McLean, Chris, Christian Encarnacion, Strand, and um Noel V. Marte. Hold on. Yes, Noel V. Marte, not to mention top prospects Edwin Arroyo, Cam Collier, and Sal Stewart. Cincinnati has said there are no plans to move India, but anything can happen if the right deal for pitching presents itself. Shortstop Willie Adams, Brewers. Within hours of Milwaukee's trade of Burns to Baltimore, speculation began that Adams could be the next Brewers player to be moved. Adams is a free agent at the end of the season, and the acquisition of Joey Ortiz in the Burns deal gives the Brewers a tailor-made replacement for the shortstop. Milwaukee could look to add starting pitching before opening day with Adams and reliever Devin Williams potentially available to accomplish that goal. Buzz factor medium. The Brewers plan to contend in 2024, but the Burns trade proves that money matters to Milwaukee too. Adams will Adams will earn $12.25 million this season, which currently ranks as the second highest salary on the Brewers roster. Unless Milwaukee believes it can extend Adams, there is a chance he could be dealt before opening day. JD Davis with the Giants. There has been some buzz about San Francisco's supposed interest in Chapman. Should the free agent third baseman's price drop as the weeks go by, the Giants could make a move at the hot corner. That would open a potential trade for Davis, who hit 18 home runs with a 738 OPS in 144 games last season. Buzz factor low, barring the signing of Chapman or some other unforeseen move. Davis will likely open the season as the Giants' third baseman, but the 30-year-old is slated to become a free agent next fall. So his name could surface in trade talks this summer. Outfielder Dylan Carlson. The Cardinals have already traded Tyler O'Neill this offseason, But Carlson remains part of a crowded outfield that includes Jordan Walker, Brandon Donovan, Tommy Edmond, and Lars Nootbaar. St. Louis received interest from multiple teams earlier this winter, though the Cards ultimately dealt O'Neill instead. Carlson broke in with a solid rookie season in 2021 of 18 home runs, 780 OPS in 149 games, but he has struggled since hitting 13 homers with a 680 OPS in 204 games in 2022 to 23. Buzz factor low. Carlson is set to earn $2.35 million in 2024 and is arbitration eligible for 2 more years before becoming a free agent. There is no urgency to move Carlson now, but if a club comes calling for outfield help, he could be a chip for the Cardinals to use to address other areas of need. Anthony Santander, Orioles. Santander and the Orioles settled on an $11.7 million contract for 2024, avoiding arbitration in the outfielder's final year of the process. Santander is set to become a free agent after the season, and while he led the 101 win club in both home runs, 28 and 95 RBIs last year. Baltimore has prospects Colton Cowser um, and Heston knocking on the door. Forgive me, I can't pronounce this last name, so I'm just gonna say the first name. Um, Buzz factor low. Assuming the O's have another strong season, it's just like it's just as likely that they stand pat in the outfield and let Santander reach free agency. But the presence of those young players gives GM Mike Elias options. All right, so um, Manuel Margot, Dodgers, acquired as part of the the Glass Now trade in December. Margot currently slots in as the Dodgers' fourth outfielder, though he figures to see some playing time in right field along with Jason Hayward. Margot is set to earn $10 million this year and has a $12 million club option for 2025 with a $2 million buyout. So the Dodgers could look to move him if they don't have plans to play him much. Ooh. Buzz factor low. Margot's inclusion in the Glassnow trade was seen by many as a salary dump for Tampa Bay, but it remains to be seen whether the Dodgers intend to keep the 29-year-old for the entire year or shop him to address another area. The DH Harold Ramirez and the Rays are headed for an arbitration hearing for the second straight year, and the 29-year-old will be arbitration eligible for the final time next winter. That's typically been the sweet spot for the Rays to move a player, acquiring younger and more controllable talent as arbitration salaries increase. Ramirez bounced from Miami to Cleveland before landing with Tampa Bay, where he had a strong season with 12 homers, 68 RBIs, 813 OPS, and 400 at bats in 2023. Buzz factor medium. Trading Ramirez would trim some payroll and free up at bats for younger players such as Curtis Mead and Jonathan Aranda. The Rays were reportedly shopping Ramirez earlier this winter, so it wouldn't be surprising for them to continue monitoring that market. Dylan Cease. With we've already seen Glasnow and Burns get traded this winter, yet Cease, who seemed to be a lot to be moved, remains with the White Sox. Chicago's asking price has been understandably high, as Cease, who agreed to an $8 million salary um, to avoid arbitration, won't be a free agent until the end of 2025 season. Yes, 2025 season. Yeah. And potential suitors could be waiting to see if the 2022 AL Cy Young runner-up bounces back from a subpar 2023 season. 4.58 ERA and 97 ERA plus. Buzz factor is high. Controllable starting pitching might be a team's most valuable asset, so Chicago is unlikely to lower its asking price anytime soon. If Cease isn't traded prior to opening day, he should be a near lock to dominate headlines leading up to the trade deadline, assuming he looks more like the 2022 version of himself. Kenley Jansen will earn $16 million in 2024 before returning to free agency. So an acquiring team wouldn't have to commit to the reliever long term. Ooh, okay. All right. The 36-year-old was an all-star last year, his first selection since 2018. While he's not as dominant as he was during his prime with the Dodgers, he remains a solid late inning option that would make any contender's bullpen better. Buzz factor, medium. There has been plenty of smoke around a potential Jansen trade in recent weeks, though nothing has come to fruition. Boston has bullpen depth, but could use another starter. So perhaps moving Jansen and his salary would allow the Sox to sign a free agent for the rotation. So there you go, man. These rumors are considered to be debunked. All right. Let's see what we have here. Let's see what we have here. Um, let's see. Okay. Okay, we got some stuff to talk about here. So, let's get to hang on. Let's get to let's get to yes. Yes, let's get to Kodai Senga. Yeah, let's talk about him actually. So, um for those who may not know, um For those who may not know, Kodai Senga will rest for at least 3 weeks before he's allowed to resume throwing. The Mets ace returned to camp on Sunday, 2 days after receiving a PRP injection in his right shoulder in New York. Last week, Senga was diagnosed with a moderate strain of the posterior capsule in his shoulder. And you have got to let the shot do the work. And once we start ramping up his throwing program, we'll have a better idea how he's bouncing back, manager Carlos Mendoza said before the Mets 3-1 victory over the Astros split squad in an in an exhibition game. We have got to let it heal. Wow. Even after Senga resumes starring, he will face a normal spring training build-up time that would push his return date into the regular season. Yep, that's going to be a long time, man. That's going to be a long time. All right. In the meantime, the team will look toward Tyler McGill, Jose Buto, and Joey Lucchese, among others, as possibilities to fill in for Senga in the rotation. Senga, age 31, told team officials he felt fatigue in the shoulder following his first bullpen session of spring training. Once that fatigue persisted following a throwing session last week, the decision was reached to send Senga for an MRI exam that provided the basis for his diagnosis. Senga last season avoided the injured list as a rookie and pitched to a 2.98 ERA in 29 starts for the team. He became the Mets' number one starter after Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander were traded last summer. The only thing I really have to say is I am using my time to my benefit, Senga said through his interpreter. I am working on things I need to work on and making sure I can get out there as quickly as possible. And once I am out there, I can dominate and help the team win. Mark Vientos, starting at third base, booted a fourth inning grounder for an error before rebounding to start a 5-4-3 double play to end the frame. I think it was more positioning on the error, Mendoza said. He started creeping in, and before you know it, he's playing too close to the hitter and not giving himself a chance to read the ball off the bat. I think it's more of that than mechanics. We are going to talk about it and watch some film. I was very pleased that he got another ground ball and we were able to complete the play. The Mets claimed left-handed pitcher Colton Ingram off waivers from the Tigers and transferred David Peterson, who is rehabbing from hip surgery, to the 60-day injured list. Astros bench coach Omar Lopez, a Venezuelan, served as the team's split squad manager. Mendoza, who is MLB's second full-time manager from Venezuela, sat in the Mets dugout. It marked the first time in Major League history, according to Al Extra Base, that managers of Venezuelan descent managed against each other in a spring training game. By the way, in case you're wondering who is going to be the opening day pitcher, it's going to be Jose Quintana. So Jose Quintana is going to be taking the place of Kodai Senga, who's originally supposed to start, but because of the injury, he'll be taking over the first day position. And like I said, the Mets and Brewers game has been pushed to Friday due to rain. So there you have it right there. All right. So speaking of which, speaking of which, let's see. Let's see if there's any if there's any other hang on a second. Oh, in other Kodai Senga news, in other Kodai Senga news, of course, um, Kodai Senga might require more time than expected, but before he starts throwing again. This Friday, Senga will be 3 weeks out since receiving a PRP injection to address his right shoulder strain. But while that date had initially been targeted as the righty's potential return to throwing, manager Carlos Mendoza said that Senga might now take an extra week or so. Not a setback, none of that, Mendoza insisted before the Mets 6-5 win against the Astros on Wednesday. But we want to make sure that before he picks up a baseball, he's strong and that we're comfortable. This likely means Senga's rehab timetable is being pushed back as well. The expectation of Senga's return to throwing had always included missing opening day, but President of Baseball Operations David Stearns had declined to specify a timetable when he addressed the injury earlier this spring, though he insisted that he still expected Senga to pitch frequently this season. In other words, remains to be seen, folks. It's hard to tell because you never know, Mendoza said Wednesday when asked about the rest of Senga's timetable getting pushed back. Once he starts playing catch, it's all about bouncing back and things like that. So it's hard to predict right now. In his first MLB season, Senga started 29 games, compiled a 2.98 ERA, and made the National League's All Star team, adjusting to his first MLB season seamlessly after a tenure in Nippon professional baseball and becoming one of the Mets' most consistent starters. Um, the Mets were cautious with monitoring the days between Senga's starts and building him up to a regular rest timeline too. With Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer traded and Carlos Cookie Carrasco departing in free agency, which I will talk about next. Senga was positioned to serve as the rotation centerpiece to start the year. Overall, he's moving in the right direction, Mendoza said, and we're pretty happy with where he's at right now in his rehab process. Brett Baty was a precautionary scratch from the Mets lineup due to minor back tightness and his and is day to day day to day um yeah, and he reported the tightness after Tuesday's game, but Mendoza expected Baty to be back in the lineup Thursday. Mark Vientos, which I will talk about in a couple of minutes, who went one for three with a homer, shifted to third base while G-Man Choi played first, who, by the way, didn't make the Mets roster for opening day. He didn't make it. Um, and when Diaz, who made his spring debut Monday with a scoreless inning, will throw live batting practice Thursday morning, but then fly back to New York City to join his wife after the birth of their child. Mendoza anticipated Diaz returning to Port St. Lucie at some point over the weekend. Um, Luis Severino surrendered his first run of the spring on a second inning homer, but other than that, he continued a promising build up to the regular season with 4 innings Wednesday. He struck out 3 Astros and didn't issue any walks. His spring ERA sits at 1.00. All right. Let me see. Actually, before I even go to Mark Vientos, we got some breaking news here, man, that I need to actually get to. All right, Jordan Montgomery, according to the people from ESPN, left-handed Jordan Montgomery and the Arizona Diamondbacks are in agreement on a 1-year, $25 million contract that includes a vesting player option for a second season. Sources told ESPN on Tuesday night, bolstering the National League champions rotation with the postseason standout from the team that beat them in the World Series. Yes, the deal, which is pending a physical, ends Montgomery's free agency 2 days before opening day and could include a second year player option at $20 million if Montgomery makes 10 starts. The option would be for $22.5 million if Montgomery reaches 18 starts and $25 million at 23 starts, sources said. How about that? So for those of you who may or may not know, there's been some speculation about Jordan Montgomery either going to the Yankees or the Mets, which is not going to happen. He chose Arizona, so there you have it right there. All right. After entering the winter with hopes of a 9-figure deal, the 31-year-old Montgomery signed for a fraction of that, a coup for a Diamondbacks team whose big offseason acquisition, Eduardo Rodriguez, hit the injured list this week with a lat strain. Montgomery will join a rotation that includes top starters Zack and Merrill Kelly, along with 25-year-old Brandon Pfaadt. Montgomery's market figured to be robust after a tremendous season in which he posted a career best 3.20 ERA over 188 and 2/3 innings. The final 67 and 2/3 of which came with the Texas Rangers following a deadline trade from St. Louis. He continued his excellence in the postseason, tossing 7 shutout innings in the wild card round against Tampa Bay and chasing that with 14 brilliant innings in the American League Championship Series. Instead, Montgomery's fortunes mirrored those of 3 other top-end clients of his agent, Scott Boras, outfielder, first baseman Cody Bellinger, who sought in excess of $150 million, signed with the Chicago Cubs for $80 million over 3 years. National Cy Young winner Blake Snell received a 2-year $62 million deal from the San Francisco Giants after targeting $150 million plus. He joined third baseman Matt Chapman, who wanted 9 figures but got 3 years and $54 million in San Francisco. Wow. Yeah, like all 3 of them who received opt-outs after the first year of their deals, Montgomery will control whether he hits free agency and a loaded class of 2024 to 25. The disappointment of the guarantee is butt rest. Oh shit! By joining the Diamondbacks team that heads into 2024 in far better shape than last year as it prepares to take on the much improved Los Angeles Dodgers and Giants, plus the the San Diego Padres. Montgomery is the latest acquisition in a busy winter for Arizona, whose payroll will balloon to a franchise record $168 million. In addition to Montgomery and Rodriguez, the Diamondbacks re-signed left fielder Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and outfielder Jock Peterson and Randall Grichuk. They also traded for third baseman Eugenio Suarez. The best player of them all is Montgomery, who is joining his fourth team since the New York Yankees, with whom he spent the first 6 seasons of his career, dealt him to St. Louis at the 2022 deadline. A reliable innings eater who has top 30 starts in 3 consecutive seasons. Montgomery has a career 38-34 record with a 3.68 ERA and 705 strikeouts in 755 innings after New York chose him out of the University of South Carolina in the 4th round of the 2014 draft. Featuring a sinking fastball and a hard curve nicknamed the Death Ball. Damn, the Death Ball. Wow. Montgomery carved through the Houston Astros in the the ALCS, before 4 runs in 6 innings in a Game 2 loss to the Diamondbacks. It was the only game the Rangers dropped en route to their first World Series win, and there was mutual interest in a return. But Texas uncertainty over its local television rights tightened the Rangers' purse strings, forcing Montgomery to explore other options. Discussions with the Boston Red Sox never advanced past the early stages, nor did talks with the Yankees. The Giants at one point were a suitor, but dropped out after signing Snell. Only recently did the Diamondbacks emerge as a possible landing spot. It's an ideal landing spot for Montgomery, whose data-driven approach aligns with the Diamondbacks, pitching coach Brent Strom and pitching strategist Dan Harron. And if he can help Arizona in October the same way he did the Rangers last season, the Diamondbacks could once again surprise an NL in which the Dodgers and Atlanta Braves are favorites to win the pennant. You know what? I'm going to save the MLB predictions, playoffs, World Series, MVPs, and more for another time. I want to actually get to what you call it though. Hold on a second. Hold on. So Mark Vientos had a possible clear path to significant playing time removed and will now await the verdict on his roster status. There is still a good chance the 24-year-old Vientos will be placed on the Mets opening day roster as the team awaits JD Martinez, who will need at-bats in extended spring training and the minor leagues before he is ready. After reaching agreement Thursday on a 1-year contract with the club worth $12 million, but whether there will be a spot in the major leagues for Vientos beyond that is unclear. Vientos, after hitting his 5th home run aka Homer, of the Grapefruit League season in the Mets' 5-3 loss to the Yankees in Tampa Bay on Friday, indicated he received a text message from his agent a night earlier informing him of the Martinez deal. Good pickup for the team, Vientos told reporters when asked what reaction he had to learning of the deal. Was it hard for Vientos to accept? No, not really, he said. The Mets could decide they want to keep Vientos on the roster as somebody to play third base against left-handed pitching with Brett Baty as the starter and spell the 36-year-old Martinez at DH. But the Mets also could decide he's better served receiving regular at-bats at AAA Syracuse. One thing about Vientos, he's a huge part of our future here and present too. Manager Carlos Mendoza told reporters in Tampa, he will get opportunities, and it's one of those we'll see what happens. Vientos began camp in a competition with Baty for the third base job, which clearly Baty won that job actually. But Vientos has played only 6 games at the position this spring as Baty receives the majority of reps to prepare for the season. A bat-first player, Vientos' raw power is intriguing to the Mets. I still would tell Mark there's nothing done yet, Brendan Nimble said at Clover Park when asked if he might have a message for Vientos. We're still making decisions, and it's still going to take 40 guys to win and get to the playoffs. And just because we made this signing doesn't mean he's any less a part of the team. And I'm really happy to see the strides he's making. What I would tell him is that nothing has changed from his standpoint. It didn't matter if he was going to be on the major league team or starting the year in AAA. He still needs to get the most of himself and work hard. Even when you are in the big leagues, the work never stops. That's true. This is true. This is so true. Yeah, this is so true though. Now, I did see a picture of him. Not a picture, but it was like a little video clip where he kind of felt like he was the odd man out. You know what I'm saying? And maybe if some people weren't too, maybe it's, I'm not saying everybody, but maybe if certain people weren't too hard on the guy, oh, because he didn't get the job or whatever, he lost his opportunity. Man, listen. If you took the time to understand how he felt as far as being the odd man out and being sent to AAA Syracuse to favor JD Martinez, who has a 1-year deal as a DH, which is fine, but it's like where do you go from here? You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. So let's see, and let's see, what else? Yeah, let's go to Carlos Cookie Carrasco. Let's see. All right. All right. So the Cleveland Guardians today announced the following addition to the 2024 Major League Spring Training Camp roster. Signed free agent right-handed pitcher Carlos Cookie Carrasco to a minor league contract with a non-roster invitation to the Major League Camp. Carrasco, age 36, returns to the Guardians organization after spending 11 seasons at the major league level with Cleveland from 2009 to 2020, recording an 88-73 record with a 3.77 ERA in 242 games, 195 starts.
His 13.05 strikeouts ranked fourth most in the 123-year history of the franchise, while his 9.5 strikeouts per 9.0 IP ranked second among the 942 players who have pitched for the club. His vast community efforts in the Cleveland and Tampa Bay communities, as well as his native Venezuela, earned him the Roberto Clemente Award in 2019, becoming the third Cleveland player to earn Major League Baseball's most prestigious off-field honor. Carlos spent the last 3 seasons from 2021 to 23 in the New York Mets rotation, making 61 starts while posting a 15-7 mark in 2022 across 29 starts, 3.97 ERA, 67 ER, 152.0 IP, 152 SO. So there you have it right there, man. He's no longer with the Mets right now. And we need to get to, hang on a second before I get to Fujinami. Let's get to obviously Yoshinobu Yamamoto, actually. So a little recap from the Yamamoto thing. So this is from the MLB website. So a day after announcing that Shohei Ohtani will make his first Cactus League appearance in a Dodgers uniform on Tuesday, the Dodgers are also ready to show off their other prize off-season acquisition this week. After throwing a bullpen session on Monday, the Dodgers have Japanese phenom Yoshinobu Yamamoto scheduled to pitch 2 innings against the Rangers on Wednesday in Surprise, Arizona. Surprise, Arizona! I never heard of it. Oh man, and it will be streamed live on MLB.TV at 12:05 p.m. Pacific time. It'll be the first time Yamamoto gets into Cactus League action in his career. It's great, said Dodgers manager Dave Roberts. The guys really came into camp excited, very focused. I think the guys that are new have done a great job of assimilating. The guys who have been here have done a great job of incorporating the new players and now seeing them on the field and to play Dodger baseball. It's been fun. We play every pitch, we play hard, and that's my expectation. Early in the season, the Dodgers identified Yamamoto as one of their top targets in free agency. The Dodgers had been scouting Yamamoto for years, and the excitement around him had been growing for years. This winter, the Dodgers were able to land Yamamoto on a 12-year, $325 million deal, making him the highest paid pitcher in the major league history, despite not throwing a pitch in the majors. But Yamamoto's success in Nippon professional baseball can't be understated. Yamamoto is fresh off winning the pitcher triple crown and won 3 consecutive E.G. Sawamura Awards, the equivalent of the Cy Young in MLB. Over the past few weeks, the Dodgers have gotten a chance to learn more about Yamamoto, which, by the way, a little side note here, man. Steve Cohen and David Stearns went to Japan to see Yamamoto and his family, and then on top of that, Yamamoto requested to see Steve Cohen and David Stearns, and basically, let's just say he took advantage. He took advantage of them. He took advantage of them and played them in a bad way. So there you have it right there, man. Glad he's not a Met, man. With the luxury taxes and all that other shit that Steve Cohen has to deal with and shit. So glad that they steered away from Yamamoto because that's too much money right there. Anyway, yeah, Yamamoto, who has an interesting and unique way of training. Yamamoto has become famous for his javelin workout, among other things. His bullpen sessions have routinely drawn a big crowd at Dodgers camp. During his first of two BPs this spring, Yamamoto faced off against former MVPs Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Yamamoto was able to get the best of them, drawing a standing ovation from Betts at the end of the session. On Wednesday, the attention will once again be on Yamamoto when he faces off against the defending World Series champions. Well, I don't know, man. I heard he got hammered by the other team, so that's just that's just crazy though, man. But anyway, let's see. Oh man, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Previously, the Mets were 10 games under 500. They got swept by the Kansas City Royals. All that other stuff. So I'm not gonna go into deep with that one right there. What do you say we go to the story of David Wright and Jose Reyes for a sec? All right. All right. Let's see. Let me see. All right, so previously three former hold on a second. Three former Mets, David Wright, Jose Reyes, and Bartolo Colon are among the 12 first timers on the Baseball Hall of Fame's 2024 ballot. Wright played his entire 14-year MLB career with the Mets, playing in 1,585 games. He posted a 296 batting average and 867 OPS, of course, 144 OPS plus, with a 49.2 WAR. Wright was a 7-time All-Star who also won the two Golden Gloves, for his play at third base, and won 2 Silver Slugger awards. Wright was the 38th player selected in the 2001 MLB draft, a supplemental round selection because of the loss of Mike Hampton in free agency to Colorado. He would go on to become one of the most beloved players in franchise history and was the 4th captain in team history. Reyes played 12 years over 2 stints, 2003 to 11 and 2016 to 18 of his 16-year MLB career with the Queens Club after they signed him out of the Dominican Republic as a 16-year-old. The shortstop batted .283 with a 761 OPS, which is 103 OPS plus, and a 37.4 WAR in his career. He was a 4-time All-Star in his first stint with the Mets and was the Silver Slugger winner in 2006 and NL batting champion in 2011. Colon played just 3 years from 2014 to 16 with the Mets in his 21-year career that also saw him pitch for Cleveland, Montreal, Chicago White Sox, Los Angeles, Boston, Yankees, Oakland, Atlanta, Minnesota, and Texas. The fan favorite right-hander pitched to a 3.90 ERA and 588.2 innings over 98 appearances, which is 95 starts with the Mets. A 4-time All-Star once with the Mets in 2016 in his age 43 season. The right-hander was the 2005 AL Cy Young Award winner when he went 21-8 with a 3.48 ERA for the Angels. The three are considered to be long shots to make it to Cooperstown. The other new candidates on the ballot are Jose Bautista, Adrian Beltre, Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Holliday, Victor Martinez, Joe Mauer, Brandon Phillips, James Shields, and Chase Utley. There are 14 remaining candidates who received at least 5% on the ballot last year but failed to achieve the 75% threshold needed for selection to the Hall, including several other former Mets in Bobby Abreu, Carlos Beltran, Francisco Rodriguez, a.k.a. K-Rod, Gary Sheffield, and Billy Wagner. Sorry about that. The other returning players are Mark Burrow, Todd Helton, Torrey Hunter, Andrew Jones, Andy Pettit, Manny Ramirez, Jimmy Rollins, Alex Rodriguez, a.k.a. A-Rod, and Omar Vizquel. Scott Rowland was the lone candidate of 28 on the ballot last year to be selected to the Hall of Fame with 76.3%. Helton was the closest to selection in 2023. For those still on the ballot, appearing on 72.2% of ballots, which is 281 votes. Wagner was on 68.1% of ballots, Sheffield 55%, Beltran 46.5%, Abreu 15.4%, and K-Rod 10.8%. Voting members of the Baseball Writers Association of America can vote for up to 10 players. Election results will be revealed. Actually, it already revealed on January 24th. It already happened. So let me see what else. Let me see. And after he was named the Mets president of baseball operations last October, David Stearns placed a call to former major leaguer David Wright, the team's living legend from 2004 to 18, to get a feel on his availability to work in the front office. Wright indicated he enjoyed being a father and wanted to continue to do work for the team on a part-time basis. In fact, he was at Clover Park on Tuesday to talk to some of the current Mets players and do some marketing for the club. Stearns kind of asked what I had interest in doing. I said, well, if you are asking about daddy time and my 5-year-old softball team, my 7-year-old girls soccer team, I can talk about that. I'm not sure how much help I'm going to be on the baseball ops side, Wright said. Stearns has it under control with the people he hired himself. As an observer from the outside, Wright has watched what the Mets have done this offseason, and he likes what they have before opening day. It looks like they have greatly improved their depth, which is something that has been lacking the last few years, Wright said. So I think depth-wise, they are in a much better spot. Now, you might not have premier marquee names on the front end of the rotation that you had going into last year, but when you are playing 162 games and with the injuries throughout baseball now, I think that depth is going to be pretty important come the middle of the summer. The Mets weren't the only thing on Wright's mind. He discussed the Baseball Hall of Fame voting and felt that former teammate Billy Wagner should be enshrined in Cooperstown this summer. This past January, Wagner was in his ninth year of eligibility and received 73.8% of the vote, which was short of the 75% needed to be elected to Cooperstown. I don't think there is any doubt. Right said. I'm certainly not the end all be all of the Hall of Fame balloting and the ins and outs of who should be in and who should be out. But in my eyes, when I think of Hall of Fame relievers, Billy Wagner is right up there on the top of the list. Wright was on the Hall of Fame ballot for the first time this year and received 6.2% of the vote. He said he is grateful to continue to be on the ballot. Wright had a great career with the Mets. He ranks first in team history in runs scored, 949, hits, 1,777, and 970 RBIs. And the second in wins up above replacement behind Tom Seaver. Excuse me. 76.1 with 49.2 according to Baseball Reference. Asked if he is a Hall of Famer, Wright said up until a couple of months ago, I never even thought about it because that is not the reason I played baseball. When I wore this uniform on a daily basis, yes, we did it for a living and were compensated handsomely for doing it. I enjoyed it. I loved it. When I look back on it, it was an incredible honor to make that 5% on the Hall of Fame ballot. But I also think things are changing. I'm not sure if it's in a way people like or dislike. I think writers and fans and people in the game are starting to understand that some of the best players, this is excluding me, didn't necessarily hit the milestones that a lot of the greats from the past and different decades hit when they played. It's an interesting debate that I didn't know much until a couple of months ago. It's a fun one to have. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be all right though, man. You know what I mean? He'll be all right. He'll be okay. So you know what I mean. He's not worried about any of this stuff right now. So let's see. Let's see. Yes, Darryl Strawberry was at spring training too. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that one right there. Um, and this is from the New York Post, by the way. Darryl Strawberry sees a bright future for the Mets given their influx of young talent and new regime's vision for the organization. For the franchise's all-time home run leader, it's a theme that resonates from his playing days. Develop talent through the farm system and keep keep replenishing it. But Strawberry also isn't about to discount this season. Um, I wouldn't I wouldn't call it a complete reset. They are still good enough to win right now. Strawberry said Tuesday at Clover Park, where he is serving as a Mets guest instructor this week. Strawberry, who's number 18, will be retired by the team on June 1st, was part of the wave that arrived to help the Mets win their last World Series title in 1986. The group, hold on. Yeah, the group developed from within also included Dwight Gooden, whose number is going to be retired this year too. Mookie Wilson, Lenny Dykstra, Wally Backman, and Kevin Mitchell, among others. The new prospects on whom the Mets are banking include Drew Gilbert, Jet Williams, Luis Angel Acuna Jr., with starting pitchers such as Christian Scott, which I actually saw an interview. I actually saw an interview of him on one of the on Shay Station podcast. And if you guys don't know, you can check it out. It's by Jerry Blevins and Jolly Olive, I believe. Yeah, Jolly Olive. Yeah. All right. And By the way, man. By the way, a little side note here, man. Luis Angel Acuna is not like his brother who has power. Okay, he's the opposite. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here. You know what I mean? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. um, yeah, yeah. Mike Vassell and Dominic Hamlin expected to complete their jobs either later this season or next. Frank Cashin was the architect of the Mets' last World Series winner. Hold on, let me see who here. Hold on. Let me give a shout out to Hasham Haza Sportswear and a black cat's voice. Shout outs to you. Appreciate you for watching. All right. Now it's president of baseball operations, David Stearns, trying to find the right mix that can end the championship drought. Stearns is doing exactly what Frank did, Strawberry said. When I look at some of the things he's done this offseason, and the way most want to criticize him, saying he's not doing a good job. Hold on. He's doing a good job because he's looking at the future of the New York Mets. He's looking at the talent and he's looking at the current team, what the needs are, which is good because your owner has a lot of money, but he's not throwing it away. Strawberry, who battled a cocaine addiction, ultimately left the Mets through free agency. He would like to think Pete Alonso won't follow that same script after this season. Strawberry says there is a big difference between his situation and Alonso's. The opportunity to stay in New York will be open to him, Strawberry said. The opportunity was not there for me. I think the front office and people here do like Alonso. And if you have a big year now, they have got to open up their hands to you. When I got to that point, they told me I had to have a big season. I had a big season, and then we didn't talk. Strawberry, whose Christian ministry takes him on the road over 250 days a year, was asked what message he has this week for the players. I don't really have one, Strawberry said. I just need a break, so I am taking a break from working and to come down and put a uniform on. I wore this uniform for a long time and had great success with this uniform. It's fun to come down here and see the guys. Yes, I remember watching one of the Mets game interviews and stuff in regards to Pete Alonso. And for him, I'm just paraphrasing here though, man. I'm just paraphrasing here actually. If I could actually, yeah, I'm just paraphrasing here in regards to Pete Alonso and not really thinking too much about the whole contract situation and all that other stuff. So for him to have a good year and everything else, everything will fall into place. That's pretty much what I took from what he said. So, you know what I mean? So let me see. Um, Hold on a second. Yeah, let me read a couple of quotes actually. Let me see. Um, so so all right. So you just hope and pray that they work it out. The 61-year-old franchise legend said during his jersey retirement announcement Zoom conference. Um, I just hope that he reaches a point and they reach a point as an organization where they come together and keep him there. Strawberry said, "Let him be the player that he has been. Let him break all the records. Records are meant to be broken. That's not important. Some guys sit here and don't want guys to break their record. I hope players break my records. That means I've done something and you've done something too." Um I think the relationship with him and the organization is quite different, Strawberry said. I didn't have one when I hit free agency market when I was in my last season in 1990. They left the door open for me and I ended up leaving. I just hope he doesn't leave because I ended up personally with a belly full of regrets. There's nothing like playing in New York. Um, so yeah. And one of the things that he said during the Mets interview in one of the games that I watched, is to not think too much about not to think too much, not to overthink about home runs and all that other stuff. All that comes naturally. That's pretty much what I took from that. So there you have it right there, man. Um, all right, let's go to Fujinami, and then I'll go to Zack Short. Hold on a second here. But first, let me. But first, let me do a little But first, let me do a little recap here on the spring breakout game, which happened March 15th. So the pitchers were Paul Gervais, Dominic Hamill, Daniel Juarez, Nolan McLean, Wilkin Ramos, Ben Simmons, Brandon Sprout, Tyler Stewart, Blade Tidwell, Calvin Ziegler. And catchers were Ronald Hernandez, Kevin Parada, Vincent Perazzo, Luis Angel Acuna, Jesus Baez, Colin Hoke, William Lugo, Jacob Reimer, Jeremy Rodriguez, Junior Tillian, Marco Vargas, and Jet Williams. Ryan Clifford, Drew Gilbert, Nick Morabito, Alex Ramirez, and Rylan Thomas. And so many of the players made our list of the Mets' top 25 prospects for 2024, and a handful of them have made some appearances on the major league side of spring training. And yes, and by the way, they did win that game too. Man. And I was watching it. So that's pretty much what this is right here. So let's see. Pretty much what this is here. Yeah, let's go to Fujinami. Hold on a second. Hang on a minute. Hang on. All right, so here we are. Shintaro Fujinami, New York Mets finalized their $3.35 million one-year contract with Japanese pitcher Shintaro Fujinami on Wednesday. A 29-year-old right-hander, Fujinami can earn an additional $850,000 in performance bonuses for games, $100,000 for 35 and $250,000 for each for 40, 55, and 60. How about that? Okay, hold on a second, folks. All right. New York placed infielder Ronnie Mauricio on the 60-day injured list as he recovers from a torn right ACL sustained on December 10th while playing in the Dominican Winter League. Fujinami left the Hanshin Tigers of Japan's Central League to sign a $3.25 million one-year deal with Oakland, under which he also earned a $100,000 performance bonus. He started 0-4 in the rotation last year and was moved to the bullpen. Then made 3 more starts in June. He was traded to Baltimore on July 19th and was much more effective in short stints as a reliever for the AL East champion Orioles, going 2-0, with a 4.85 ERA and 2 saves in 30 appearances. Fujinami, who features a 98 to 99 miles per hour fastball, finished 7th to 8 overall with a 7.18 ERA in 7 starts and 57 relief appearances. Control was an issue. He struck out 83 batters but walked 45 in 79 innings. In more Fujinami news, according to Clutch Points, the New York Mets pitching rotation is going to look a bit different during spring training, as Shintaro Fujinami is going to miss some time. He's not dealing with an injury, but is instead going back to Japan for a short time. Fujinami is flying back home to Japan to tend a personal issue per Mets beat writer Anthony DeComo. New York Mets expects him to still be ready to go by opening day. Mets reliever Shintaro Fujinami is flying back to Japan to deal with a family matter, so he won't be in camp for a few days. The team still expects him to have plenty of time to ramp up for opening day. It's unknown what the exact family matter is, but that's for Shintaro Fujinami to deal with. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious. In the meantime, the Mets will play through spring training as planned. I did hear it has to do with his visa, so he had to take care of that as well. Shintaro Fujinami should hopefully return in time to play a few spring training games, but it's not clear when he plans to return to the team, blah, blah, blah. Shintaro Fujinami made his MLB debut last season, where he played for the Oakland Athletics and Baltimore Orioles. He served as a starter in Oakland and was switched to the bullpen in Baltimore. Fujinami proved to be much more consistent playing for the Orioles and could be a great asset out of the bullpen for the Mets. With that said, more updates regarding Fujinami should be released in the coming days or weeks. He'll fit right into the rotation once he returns to action. Okay, let's see. And also Fujinami news. He got sent down to. Hold on a second. Let me just gather. Hang on a second. Yes. Yes. So New York Mets relief pitcher Shintaro Fujinami will join AAA Syracuse's camp, a club official said Saturday. The Japanese right-hander continued to struggle with his command and saw his ERA climb to 12.27 in 5 spring training games. The Mets signed the 29-year-old to a 1-year contract after Fujinami split his major league rookie season of 2023 between the Oakland Athletics and Baltimore Orioles. So that's pretty much what that is, though. He's in AAA. So there you go right there. And also forgot to mention in breaking news regarding DJ Stewart. Yes, DJ Stewart, actually. Let me just get that. So, here's what's happened with DJ Stewart, though. DJ Stewart has made the team, and what comes to no surprise, Stewart has been told that he's made the opening day roster. Stewart figures to be the Mets' primary DH until Martinez is ready. In recent days, the Mets sent Mark Vientos, which I talked about already, and Ji-Man Choi, who's also in the minors as well, and released Luke Voigt, paving the way for Stewart to be on the team. Martinez, who can also play both corner outfield spots, excelled last season, slashing 244, 333, 506 with 11 homers and 9 doubles in 185 plate appearances over 58 games. All right. So that's the DJ Stewart news. And as far as Edwin Diaz's usage, Diaz is all set for his first appearance in the regular season major league game since 2022, but Mendoza said the Mets will be careful with him if the conditions at Citifield are less than ideal due to rain. As far as how Diaz will be utilized this season, Mendoza noted that he is open to deploying him in the 8th inning at times if the situation calls for it. Former Mets manager Buck Showalter used Diaz mostly in the 9th inning, but wasn't shy about using him in the 8th when the matchups dictated it. All right, so that's the DJ Stewart news. He's made it to the roster. All right, so let's talk hold on. Let's talk about JD Martinez. All right. So Throughout the offseason and nearly all of spring training, JD Martinez has had lingered as a plausible addition for the Mets. The team needed a designated hitter. Martinez has long been one of the best. The sides talked but could never quite line up on a deal. That changed Thursday evening, less than a week before opening day. The Mets and Martinez agreed to terms on a one-year contract that sources said was worth $12 million, adding thump to a team that intends to fight for a playoff berth. The deal was made official on Saturday morning. Right-hander Phil Bickford was designated for assignment in a corresponding move. President of Baseball Operations David Stearns recently spoke about trying to thread a needle this offseason, balancing the ideas of contention and long-term growth. The club has always wanted to test young players such as Mark Vientos and Baty to see if they might be solutions for the future. But Stearns and owner Steve Cohen also intend to compete for a player spot right now. The balance between pragmatism and competitiveness can tip on several factors. Hold on. Yeah, so that's pretty good for the most part. And by the way, he's getting some deferred money, I believe. Yeah, he's getting some deferred money from what CP was talking about on his channel. I believe. Wait a second. I believe. Yeah, he's getting some deferred money. I forget how much it is, but anyway, so that's pretty good on that part right there. And let me see what else. What else we gotta talk about here? Oh, congratulations to Zack Short. Let me tell you something about this guy, man. Let me tell you something about this guy, man. Everybody's sleeping on Zack Short, man. And that one game he played third base. He made one of those great spectacular plays to actually get an out, man. That was one of the best plays that I ever seen by a Met, by Zack Short, which, by the way, here's what's happening. Here's what's happening with him, though, man. Zack Short woke up Sunday morning and learned that Zack Short woke up Sunday morning and learned that his grandmother had died. Her passing peaceful but impactful in all the obvious ways. As Short relayed the news hours later on the Mets dugout bench, his eyes grew red. He dropped his head for a moment to collect himself. When Short arrived at Clover Park, he was summoned into a back office where Mets officials informed him he had made the team. A long-shot roster hopeful entering camp. Short impressed the club all spring with his defensive versatility and improved plate approach. 2 months shy of his 29th birthday, he will be on an opening day roster for the first time in his career. It's something bigger than me, that's for sure, Short said. So congratulations to Zack Short for making the team. Man. And all that great stuff right there, man. That's pretty good though. Let me see. What else we got to talk about here? I did talk about the odd man out here. I did talk about that. I'm not gonna go into the Mark Vientos, Brett Baty, and Francisco Alvarez provide the spark the Mets needed, and because I saw that game already, so that's pretty good that they got the win and all that other stuff. So that's pretty much what that is. So, yeah, name of this episode is When It Rains It Pours plus a win. All right. So yeah, when it rains and pours, late showers plus a win. That's the name of the episode right there. Now before I wrap up here, I want y'all to mark your calendars to these dates right here in regarding the notable dates of baseball, which is going to be returning on Fox starting with March 30th. March 30th on Fox. It's going to be on March 30th. Mark your calendars. And March 30th, Fox Saturday. Baseball is coming back. Baseball Night in America on Fox May 4th. And the MLB World Tour London Series 2024, June 8th. And the MLB Rickwood Field, June 2024, June 20th, and also the All-Star Game, July 16th. Mark your calendars, folks, because you never know which team might be, which are your favorite teams that's going to be playing. All right, so there you have it right there, man. There you have it. There you have it. All right. Let me. All right, hold on a second. All right, we're gonna wrap up right now. So, we're gonna wrap up here. So I'm going to. Yeah, I'm gonna go to a very last main segment, which is stream choices on the go. Let's do this. Hang on, hold on. All right. Make sure you follow Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast on Threads alongside with Instagram, alongside with my other shows that I do for a weekly basis, which is Meticulous Rogers podcast, the review show, and alongside with my number one show, Off the Meat Rat Chains New York Avenue podcast. That's also on Instagram as well as myself, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. And of course, turn your notifications so you don't miss out on when I'll be on Instagram live recording podcast episodes, all that great stuff right there. So don't miss a beat, folks. Do not miss a beat. And if you go to the link in bio in my link tree, you're gonna see a whole list of audio streaming platforms, which I will gladly go over. Make sure you actually not only follow the links, but also download the apps to your your iPhones, your Android phones, your iPads, Android tablets, alongside with laptops, whether you have Apple, of course, Apple included, and of course, Dell laptops included. And yeah, starting with Audible, Odyssey, Amazon Music, Breaker, Bullhorn FM, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM podcast, Overhaul FM podcast, which is the newly added app that I just added the podcast on, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podhound, Podo Polo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podvine, Snip, Spotify for podcasters, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, the number one app where you can listen to music, radio, and podcast shows for free. You don't need a debit card or credit card to download iHeartRadio or any of the apps whatsoever. Um, and of course, and of course, and of course, and of course, YouTube is included too. Make sure you grab the subscribe button on the sports YouTube channel page of the Sports Edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, so you don't miss out on the notifications on when the podcast live episode recordings on live streams on the air will start. And be sure to enable alerts so you don't miss out on anything whatsoever. And be sure to like, comment, share the videos. Be sure to listen, stream, and watch these episodes in case you miss any of them, any of the new episodes whatsoever. Add the podcast to your playlist on streaming platforms, including Spotify, so you'll be notified on each new episodes that will be dropping. And of course, be sure to also not only download the episodes, you can also share the episodes, share the videos, and be sure to tell a friend to another friend. And of course, word of mouth is important, so spread the word. And of course, you can actually be sure to share my link tree along with my sports podcast with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, the people you're cool with from work and everywhere else in between. And yeah, so that's gonna do it for me. This is your homie and host with the most, podcaster from Laurelton, Queens, New York native, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Thank you very much for listening to episode 72. I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. And y'all could have listened to any podcast in the whole world, but you chose to listen to this sports podcast, which also covers the New York Mets, baseball news, and all that great stuff right there. I am a Met fan. That's the reason why my LED lights in the background behind me is orange, because I am a Mets fan. I am a New York Mets fan. So there you have it right there. Remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and earn it. And of course, if you're looking for something creative and fun to do, be on your be on your P's and Q's. Find and look for something that clicks to you, that makes you happy, creatively, mentally, physically, and spiritually, that gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. All right. And I want to remind people, actually, before I get up out of here, if you like more Mets news and all that other stuff, man, I got a few Mets related podcast shows for you to listen to, starting with not only my podcast, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, you also have Subway to Shea with Anthony Rivera. You also have Till Mets Do His Part podcast with John Sapanero alongside with Matt A.B. Ibanez. You also have Locked On Mets by Ryan Finkelstein. You also have let me see. Yes. You also have CP's YouTube channel. Actually, it's CP's NY Sports YouTube channel page. Make sure y'all subscribe to those pages. With True Mets Talk podcast alongside with other sports that he does, which is the True Knicks Talk podcast, the Rangers, all that great stuff. And And of course, like I said, be sure to subscribe to any other YouTube channel pages that are covering the Mets and all that great stuff right there, man. Yes, Shea Station Podcast. Be sure to listen to that as well. Make sure you listen to that as well as Metsed Up Podcast. Yeah, with Mark and James, all right? And be sure to also let me see from the top of my head actually. Yes, Future in Flushing podcast, actually. Make sure you listen to that. And the Mets pod. Make sure you listen to the Mets pod as well. All right. And then there's Meet in the Apple podcast, which also released recently. Be sure to check that out as well. And all that great stuff right there. So there you have it, folks. If I forget anybody that's doing Mets news and podcasting and all that great stuff, I do apologize. I was trying to add some stuff to it as far as the rescheduling of the baseball game, which I will remind y'all again. Mets versus the Brewers baseball game has been postponed to Friday. All right, at 1:40 p.m. on SNY. And if y'all plan on going to see the game, you have to wait till Friday. If you already got your tickets, don't worry. You should be okay. And also be sure to check out the Dr. K documentary in regards to Dwight Gooden, who is going to be retiring his number this year in a couple of days. It starts at 4:30 p.m. on SNY tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, but Friday. Excuse me. Yes, Friday. Excuse me. Yeah, you can check that out as well. So, like I said, man, I don't want y'all to be stuck in the rain and there's no baseball game with the Brewers. Once again, the baseball game has been postponed to Friday at 1:40 p.m. All right. So that's a reminder for you Mets fans out there that's trying to go to Citifield. You might have to wait till Friday because of rain. It's going to be raining. You know what I'm saying? So there you have it right there. Man. This was a ill damn show today, man. I'm glad to be back, and there will be more sports episodes of the excellent, fun, vibrant Talks podcast. Don't you worry, man. I will drop this episode tomorrow, so that way you guys can actually get a better idea on the reminder of the Mets and Brewers game that got postponed. Dr. K, the few breaking news of Jordan Montgomery being with the Arizona Diamondbacks, DJ Stewart making the Mets roster, and all the other things that we just talked about in this episode. If you missed this episode, you're more than welcome to actually go on replay and all that great stuff right there, man. And that's it, man. I'm out of here. Peace and one love. And I hope y'all have a great week. And I hope y'all have a great night. Good night, everybody. And remember, don't give up on your goals and dreams. And don't let anybody stop you. Do what makes you smile. And, of course, by the way, as a New York Mets fan, I would like to say, let's go Mets. All right? Good night, everybody.